guys, welcome back to part 2 of our question and answer portion about remote nursing. I hope this second question would also help you better understand what I do as a nurse. All right, the second question that I'm gonna answer is from her username is Laura G. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Wait, let me see. Oh, her YouTube name is Lori. Hi, Lori. So Lori asked, when you said clinical reviewer, what does that entail? Okay, what does that entail? It's kind of you have like a lot of tasks. Let me just like enumerate it. So it's probably easier for you to like understand. I should say, like in a day, how do I start my day? So as a clinical review nurse, the first thing I do is I check my emails and um, I check because sometimes there are like voicemails from facility. They can, leave a message and I have to address that. And then I would open our census. So we do have like a daily census, like what are the cases that are due for today. Since we are like working collectively as a team, we usually process the case that would about to be due, because we do have like a turnaround time that we call it turnaround time. It's a TAT. So we have like a timeline to meet for us to process the case. So we have to like prioritize that. And once I know what case to work on, then of course I have to like open my systems that I need to that I need for me to work. So like the MCG or Milliman Care Guidelines, if you're guys familiar with that, that's a very like critical. It's very critical in our account because we use that to recommend to base our like decisions if the case will be approved or denied. It's based from MCG. We use MCG in our company. And then once I am ready, I would start my work. I would start reviewing a case. And then I don't know if I need to like elaborate more about how do I review a case. I think it's kind of it's kind of like specific, or it's very detailed. When I review a case, I would recommend if the case will be approved or will be denied. But if if it needs to be reviewed by the medical doctor, then we will have to send it to the doctor. After that, once we do have the case or like the decision from the doctor, they would send that case back to us, and it is still part of my job to process the decision if it's approved or denied. And then next, I would send a notification to the facility or to the provider. And then after that, I would wait for the next frequency or the next review date. When is the case will be due. Next would be there in our like daily census, we do have like categories, right? So if we are done with the first priority of initial reviews, we usually prioritize initial reviews, like the first 5 days of admission. That is what we need for the initial review. So there's another term that is what we call continued stay review. So as a concurrent nurse, since we are like reviewing the patient's admission from the day the patient is admitted up until the patient is discharged. So first category or priority is the initial review or the initial admission of the patient. And then next category would be the continued stay of the patient. So for the next 5 days, our frequency was updated to five per 5 days, every 5 days. So for every continued stay, we have to review the clinicals or the progress of the patient. And then it's the same thing. We would have to review the readiness of the patient to be discharged based from MCG, and then we're going to decide again if the continued stay will be approved or not. So the special thing about continued stay review is that the nurses has like more like authority to approve a continued stay. So if we base from that discharge readiness of the patient, if the patient met the guideline that the patient is not yet ready to be discharged, then as a nurse we can approve the case for that continued stay. And we are authorized to approve up until the 20th day of patient's admission in the hospital. There are a lot of times that the patient stays long in the hospital or stays admitted. So if the patient stays longer in the hospital for more than 21 days, then it is required for us to send the case to the medical doctor for review. And we call that, in the world, we call that LLOS, or long length of stay. If it is more than 21 days, that's what we call it. So there. Then after that, so next category, right? We're done with the continued stay review. Next is discharge. We also, it's part of our task as well as a continued stay review nurse. I mean, as a clinical reviewer, to follow patients discharge. So if we already received a notification from the facility that the patient is discharged, we get that through either a fax from the, like a discharge summary from the facility, or if we do have like a census report from providers, like their daily census, if the admission date, discharge date, and discharge disposition is provided or like available on that census report, so we can use that. And also sometimes if we have like a long overdue continued stay review, we usually call out, or like we call the facility to ask if the patient is already discharged or still in-house. If it's still in-house, we would request for a clinical to send us. And then there's that. So once we received a discharge notification, we process the discharge of the patient, and then that's it. So those are like the tasks that we do. I already mentioned a while ago that sometimes the facility also sends us requests that is not like it's not within our scope there. So for example, the patient is like belongs to a third party. We were gonna have to like forward or like route their request to the correct third party. And then third party, if you're familiar with like example Optum, so if the patient belongs to Optum, we would like direct the admission to Optum, something like that. That's what I meant when I say like a third party, just to be clear. And then also, if the patient or if the facility would send us a request, and then the status of the patient is an observation status only, so we don't process that. We would inform the provider that it's like it's not required for them to send us clinicals if it's only observation, because we only process inpatient. What else? So again, those types of like tasks, they are not counted as a productivity, but we still have to do it. Another task would be if the patient was denied. Okay, so if there is an admission that's a denied admission, and then the facility would like to request for a second look, we say, or a re-evaluation or like a reconsideration, they would, you know, send us like additional clinicals to support why they wanted us to like review again the case, why they want to like you know, to like give, like they wanted us to like check again, and maybe there are like additional information that would help us, you know, decide that the case can be approved. So they're gonna send us a reconsideration request, and as a nurse, I would like process that, as long as it's like they are on a time frame. So for reconsideration, we do give like 5 business days for our provider, for our facility to send us their request for reconsideration, and then we do process that case. Again, it is not yet again counted in the productivity. How weird, right? Like there are a lot of like steps or like tasks that we do that is not counted is a prod. What else? Okay, if for example the patient has a reevaluation and then it's still denied, but the it's not the patient, it's the facility, and then the facility again would like to request for another another review, and that is another like step, what we call it P2P, or a peer-to-peer request. That means that the facility, the doctor of the facility and the doctor of my company would talk to discuss the case. So they will have like a meeting, like a call to discuss the case. So that's a peer-to-peer request. And as a reviewer, as a clinical nurse reviewer, it is still my job to process the decision after their peer-to-peer. And again, that's not counted as our productivity. So there you have it. Oh, I think I shared a lot of my tasks. There, I think that's about it. So I hope, guys, that gives you a little bit more, you know, understanding of what my job is. And I hope this can help you better understand the world of remote nursing. So there you have it. If you guys have some more questions for me to discuss, or for me to like delve into more, so I will try my best to answer that. And thank you so much for the support, and I hope I will see you again, guys, on the next one. Bye.